Hello, I haven't been on YouTube in a minute, but I'm in Puerto Rico. I'm working remotely from Puerto Rico for a couple days and then I'm here for a travel summit. But I wanted to let you guys in on what my life kind of looks like when I'm working remotely from a different location. I usually work remotely from home, so that's just kind of everyday life, but here it is a little bit different, especially because I'm in a different time zone, so I have some time in the morning to explore, but I kind of just wanted to show you guys what that looks like. So if this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Sarah. I run a travel blog called Based in Washington, but I also have a 9-to-5 job as a sales engineer. So everything is remote. And my company is super flexible enough to let me work remotely from wherever I want to. So I'm in Puerto Rico this week. That is like one of my favorite things on this planet to do, is work remotely from a new location. I am partial to Europe. I go to Europe 2 to 3 times a year, and I want to start vlogging those trips too, because I just think, I don't know, I find it really interesting when I see people working remotely from other locations and what their life kind of looks like there. So hopefully you find this interesting too. It's about 8:43 right now, so I am going to go find some coffee and hopefully some breakfast, and then I'm actually going to go and see some history around San Juan and kind of explore in the morning and then come back and do some work in the afternoon. So I will take you guys along with me to go get coffee now. I should have brought sunglasses, so bear with me as I squint into the brightness. But if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I am obsessed with World War II historical fiction, and therefore am really into World War II history. But there is other history that happened before that, and this is an example of that. I am sitting in front of El Morro, one of the castles, forts on the island of Puerto Rico. I did some research before coming here, so a lot of us know that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. That's when he discovered America, the New World. Little known fact, he actually sailed the ocean blue in 1493 as well. He couldn't get enough, and he came across the island that we now know as Puerto Rico during that trip and decided that he wanted this land in addition to the US. So he conquered it at that time, and he discovered that there was a lot of agricultural opportunity, a lot of gold in the rivers here, and so he knew that other nations were going to want to conquer it for themselves. So he built these forts and these castles strategically around the island to protect it. And he was right. The Dutch, the French, and the English all tried to come and attack Puerto Rico and conquer it for themselves, but because they had a lot of these forts and castles in strategic places, Spain was able to keep this island for themselves. That is until the end of the 1800s, after the Spanish-American War, when Puerto Rico became a U.S. territory. But I will find a way to tie this back into World War II, because this fort in particular was used in World War I and World War II as an active military base. And after that, it was kind of retired. The National Park Service now takes care of it, and it serves as a museum for tourists like myself to go into and take a look around and learn about the history of the fort. It's also just kind of a fun place to come. There was people flying kites here earlier. There's a huge grass area where you can come and have a picnic and kind of hang out and just have a lot of space to yourself. There's no one really around me right now, which is why I feel comfortable filming this. But yeah, it's kind of a cool place to come. Definitely a must-see if you're in San Juan. I'm back home. As you can tell, I am not in Puerto Rico any longer. I need to get better about actually filming when I'm in a destination. I forget about it when I haven't done it in a while, so forgive me, but I will get better. I have some more experiences to practice pretty soon coming up. So anyway, I wanted to just kind of recap how the rest of my trip went and also give some like tips and recommendations if you are thinking about traveling and working remotely from Puerto Rico, which I do recommend. You should try it. So one thing that I wanted to mention is I stayed in Old San Juan for the majority of my trip. Part of it was in regular San Juan, New San Juan, I don't know what they call that, but part of it was in that non-Old San Juan area, and part of it was in Old San Juan. I recommend Old San Juan. It is beautiful. It's older, but it has excellent architecture and it is less like touristy. It's still touristy, but it's less commercialized, you could say. The hotel I was staying in Old San Juan was La Villa Herencia. It was gorgeous. It was like a vintagey, old world style. It had this little courtyard when you walk in, and it's like kind of an inside outside type vibe. And then you go upstairs and there's a full terrace that is open to everyone staying there, and they have 2 rooms off the terrace. That's one of the rooms that I was staying in, and it was just beautiful. The air conditioning was excellent, which is high up on my list of requirements, and the Wi-Fi was very good. That was a little bit of a concern of mine. I wasn't sure how the Wi-Fi was going to be at different places. Usually you can read reviews on, if you're on like booking.com or pretty much anywhere else, someone's always asking about the Wi-Fi, so usually that information is out there, but I just wasn't sure. But at this place I was able to make phone calls using the Wi-Fi. I was on video calls using the Wi-Fi, and I never had any issues, so I was happy about that. Then for the second half of the trip, I stayed at the Hilton Caribe on the east side of San Juan, and it was a Hilton, so it was more, you know, like a chain hotel, commercialized. They did have a nice pool and beach outside, so very good if you're a Hilton person. It was an awesome hotel. I typically tend to like boutique hotels a little bit more, but that part of the trip was for a conference, so it kind of made sense that we needed conference rooms and, you know, a larger hotel for that. But I do recommend it if you like staying in Hiltons. I also talked to a lot of people who were staying at the Juliet Hostel, which is kind of in the middle of Old San Juan and where the Hilton Caribe was, but it was an excellent hostel in their opinion. It was women only. It also had its own co-working space, which is kind of cool. So if you're someone who likes to mingle with people or just be around people while they're working, somewhere with a co-working space would be an awesome option. That is not me. I like solitude and I like to be alone when I'm working, but I know that some people crave that connection or just to like be near other people, so this would be a good option for that. There was also another co-working space in Old San Juan called Piloto 151. So if you're staying at a hotel where the Wi-Fi is not great, or you know, you just want to be around people, like more of an office-y space, then that would be a good option to check out. I think it's like $35 a day for day passes. But everything I mention is going to be linked in a Google map in the description, so don't worry about like writing anything down. I will have it all linked for you so that you can see where things are in relation to each other. The next thing I wanted to talk about was my schedule. So you saw a little bit about this when I went to El Morro. I had the morning kind of free. I typically so let me back up. This is why I love to work remotely from Europe, because the time zone is just different enough to where I have the whole morning and early afternoon to do whatever I want to do. So in Europe, I'll usually work like 3 to 11 p.m. That's normal working hours for my US counterparts, so that's when I'll be working and be available, and then I'll have the whole morning to do whatever I want to do. Puerto Rico wasn't that different in terms of time zone, so I was still working Pacific time, which meant I started work around 11 and ended around like 7 or 8 p.m. So I had part of the morning to do things, but just not as much time as I would have liked. So I did, you know, maybe 1 or 2 things each morning. Like you saw me go to El Morro, and a different day I just kind of explored Old San Juan, took a bunch of pictures, took a bunch of videos, went to a cafe, you know, little things like that. And yeah, so it was just a little bit of a different vibe than when I usually work remotely from Europe, but it was still awesome to be able to explore and then work and then go out to dinner, explore a little bit more. And yeah, so that's really what I love about working remotely from these destinations. It really gives you a chance to explore this place, almost feel like you're living there because you are working, but then not take any PTO days, because who wants to waste those? I also went to a ton of restaurants in Old San Juan, restaurants and cafes, which I typically like to do just so I can try as much as I possibly can. I also love to go to grocery stores or corner stores and get like snacks or small foods to eat and just like watch TV in bed while I do that. That's one of my guilty pleasures when I travel. But I did go to a ton of restaurants, and I will have those linked in the Google Maps link as well, so you can see everything, all of my recommendations in one spot. And if you're on the blog post version of this, I will have all of those restaurants down below and in my restaurant recommendations section. One more thing I want to mention while I have you here is that if you end up working remotely in Puerto Rico, one of my biggest tips is to plan a weekend while you're here. So obviously you'll be working during the week, but if you have a weekend when you're here, you can explore more of the island than just Old San Juan. Old San Juan is definitely the biggest part to visit when you're here. You'll want to have your home base in Old San Juan, but there is a lot more to see, like El Yunque Rainforest or Ponce, a town in the southern end of the island, and then there's also Santa Isabel and all of the farms that you can tour and try the freshest fruit that you'll ever have. And I just recommend getting out of Old San Juan at least once or twice so that you can see more of the island and see more of what Puerto Rico has to offer, because Old San Juan and San Juan in general is amazing, but there's always more to an island or a country than just one city. That's really all I have for you right now. Again, that Google Maps link is going to be in the description, and if you enjoyed this video and want to watch me work remotely from other places, or I don't know, just film whatever is going on in my life, then go ahead and subscribe. I am headed to Spain next week, so I will certainly be filming a video there and giving my tips for working remotely in Madrid and Valencia. But thank you for watching this far, and I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the comments. I'm more than happy to chat through anything that I talked about today or that I missed. And yeah, catch me most likely in Spain in my next video. I'm so excited to go there. I haven't been yet. So also, if you have any Spain recommendations, put that in the comment below, because I haven't fully planned the trip yet, which is very unlike me, but we'll see how that goes. Okay,